great stuff, man. I saw some kick-ass jackets down there too, man. All that. Without further ado, please hit that like button. Do me a favor. Welcome aboard here. Our friend from Birds 365. He's now officially screaming at both John and me now. He is Big Z, Zander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? How you feeling, man? You're getting
feeling good, bro.
Big day.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm fighting off you and John left and right. I'm slashing you guys left and right, breaking you down at the kneecaps, chopping them down each day here as the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
Yeah. Look at him, man. He's just basking in his glory now. New lid every day right now. You should be,
listen,
man. Well
this
earned,
team
man.
has ultimately achieved the highest goal. They are the king of the mountain. Nobody can take that from them ever in their life, no matter what happens. And they've earned it. I'm most excited, obviously, as I've said, for the great people of Philadelphia. They deserve this, people. They deserve this win. And I'm looking forward to everything we got going on. But I'm happy you were on Mitchell and Ness. You think the website's good? You should see the flagship store. That's their flagship store in Philly. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Next time you fly into Philly, maybe it might be once in the next 14 years of your life, but next time you do, I'll bring you over to the store. You know what? I'll even pick you up an old retro Eagle something on the house. All right, on the house.
See, be prepared, folks, because every segment now moving forward, there's going to be a subtle kick in the nuts by this guy. The entire 6 months. Remember. The entire 6 months.
I'm not going to beat you up that long, but I am going to remind you often. I am going to remind you often about what the team accomplished.
Hey, absolutely here. How important do you think this signing is of this offensive coordinator moving into the offseason here? It's got to be the number one priority moving forward right now, no?
Yeah, I happen to be in your ballpark on this, all right? I happen to agree with you 100%. Obviously, Zach Bond, some of the free agents are fun to talk about, but the reason I think this is so important is because you have a real window here. Even the people who are the most critical of the Philadelphia Eagles look at this team and they're like, there's a big window right here. The big window right here. So if you don't get this right, you're going to blow a year in a key window. All right. So I think you got to get it right. I like an older guy here, but I understand Patullo. I really do, because like you said, you just won a Super Bowl. You don't really need a major infusion, right? You could use an incremental increase. Like you said, 5-10% better in the passing game, whatever that might be. So I understand the Patullo thing, but I will say, we've had 2 instances of this where you promote from within. In 2018, I believe we promoted from within with Doug, and he promoted, I believe that's when he promoted what did he promote after Frank? Was that Press Taylor?
Press Taylor.
Was that who it was?
I believe it was.
And then in 23 with Brian Johnson. So I understand if the owner doesn't want to go that route, but I will.
And by the way, he loves Frank.
No, it wasn't Press Taylor. It was Mike Groh. Mike Groh. That's who it was. Thank you. I knew it was. I knew it wasn't Press Taylor, because Press Taylor is who it was supposed to be after Mike Groh left. That's when Doug said, "I want Press Taylor." I knew it was. I thought Press Taylor was wrong, but no. Those are the 2 instances. So you had Mike Groh and you had Brian Johnson. Maybe the owner looks at that and is like, look, here's the last 5 offensive coordinators for the Eagles. Ready? Frank Reich, Super Bowl. Mike Groh, failure. Shane Steichen, Super Bowl appearance. Brian Johnson, failure. Kellen Moore, Super Bowl win. So maybe the owner looks at that and is like, all right, of the last 5, the 2 we brought from outside, the 3 we brought from outside the room, we had way more success with than the 2 we promoted from within. Maybe.
Don't forget, Nick was the first 6 games OC in 21 also. He called the plays until he gave it up to Shane, and he was 2-4 in that process.
I remember when Marty Morningweg was the offensive coordinator. His son was the quarterback at St. Joe's Prep, the high school.
Killer, man. Well, then that goes to the second question. Do you think it's beneficial to Hurts and the team to be outside and go outside, or to stay and go from within? And here, like I pointed out, Kevin Patullo is the perfect hire if you're going 5 to 10% and you want to improve the passing game. if you're looking at overhauling the passing game in the offseason, what the fuck does Kevin Patullo know about a passing game? Name me where he's been a top flight coordinator somewhere in developing a quarterback as the offensive coordinator.
He's never been that.
He's never done that.
No, he's never done that.
But what he has done is he has worked with what they did a year ago now, and he's worked with Jalen inside that sandbox. And if you're asking him to jump out of that sandbox, aren't you basically doing the same thing and asking somebody to come in here like Brian Johnson? Hey, I want you to improve the passing game. Hey, dude, how many times last year or in 23 did Kelce and the entire team, Lane and all them go, run the ball, run the ball? They never went back to running it. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think this is a little different.
Higher, man.
I think this is a little different than those other circumstances. Like I'd feel, to be honest with you, maybe I'm just riding a Super Bowl high. I wouldn't be upset if they hired Kevin Patullo because I don't think reinventing the wheel at this point is even necessary. You know, I think you want to add to it, but
so Kevin you don't believe there's going to be an increase in the?
No, I believe there's going to be.
How much do you think they're going to try to change the offense this offseason?
I don't think they're going to try and change it too much. I think they're going to try and add to it. You know, they want to be more efficient in the passing game, or at least, you know, whatever that looks like. So I don't know. I'm not going to be upset if it's Kevin Patullo. I think it's going to be Kevin Patullo. They got to go through the whole process. They got to, you know, do all the things you have to do when you're hiring a new coach. So they're going to do all of those things. Maybe somebody wows them in an interview. Jeffrey Lurie is probably going to make the final say, for being honest. All right, and I feel all right though. I don't think Kevin Patullo is going to be a bad hire. Him and Kellen Moore were super buddy apparently. Kellen Moore might even interview for him for offensive coordinator in New Orleans because they worked super well together. And remember, Kellen's going to be the play caller there, so he might like an offensive coordinator that's, you know, hey, I'm right in your ear, but I'm not overtaking you. So that's interesting. You know, I think could force the Eagles' hand, right? Because remember, Kevin Patullo is also Sirianni's right-hand man, and he's been Sirianni's right-hand man for a while. So, in other words, if I don't promote Kevin Patullo, I lose Kevin Patullo. That might force the Eagles' hand, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
right? They might be like, let's just promote him here and give him the job here. So we'll see what they end up doing. But overall, I think you're still in a good spot there because I think the offense can, you know, I think this is a talent-driven offense, right? You look at the 49ers team, that's a scheme-driven offense. That's what Kyle Shanahan does. You look at the Rams offense, they rely on creative play calls to be great. You look at the Eagles offense, it's not complex. It's not. They're just good players. They're good players and they bully you. So you improve on that, I think, in incremental ways, but I don't think it's this crazy thing that you have to reinvent.
It's got to evolve.
What's that?
It's got to evolve. I mean,
it's got to. Why?
Okay. Because every single coordinator will catch up to what you're doing because these guys are so great. And hey, Todd Bowles, man. Anytime they line up against him, Todd Bowles got your number. He's a pretty damn good coordinator, man. I'm not saying Todd Bowles is going to win a Super Bowl, but I don't ever remember Todd Bowles having a bad game against Philly. What did Brady say his entire career? The number one thing I had to do as a player was every year watch film and evolve my game. Because if I didn't evolve my game, these coordinators catch me all the time. There was a 10-year span in the middle of their two dynasties where Brady didn't get back to that game because he was, again, Zander, if you think you can do the same thing over and over.
No, I'm not saying that. You're right. But my point is that every year there's going to be a natural level of evolution, whether you're the same coordinator or not. That's just how football goes. You're not the same player year in and year out, and even week in and week out. So I think you have to evolve naturally. Look at 22, 23, and 24. Every year it's looked different. Every year it's looked different based on the personnel, based on what you needed each player to do. And I don't think it's like I said, I don't think this is entirely scheme based. I think you look at Jalen Hurts, you understand what his skill set is. You come in here, you rely on the big boys up front. You try and improve the passing game. I think they can easily improve in the passing game a little bit. Give Jalen a little bit simpler concepts in terms of underneath stuff. Stop so much deep, long developing routes. Continue with the go balls in terms of, when you have man coverage or a blitz is coming. And I think they can build on it from there. I don't think it's something to worry about right now.
Okay.
But I do agree with you that the hiring of the guy is a very important thing. I do agree with you. You got to get the right guy in the room. If you don't get the right guy in the room, or that's almost the one thing I wonder about a guy on the outside. Are you going to try and change up too much when you don't need to at this moment?
Okay. Let me ask you this. What was the difference between Vic in Miami and Vic in Philly?
Players.
Players?
And I think even
And
more
buying
important,
in.
buying in. That was my next comment. Yep, buying in. The players in Miami didn't want to play Vic's scheme.
Okay.
You
Right.
know, the players in Philly were like,
Bring
Vic,
somebody
you
from
tell me
outside.
where, and I go in there.
You bring somebody from outside that's got a different opinion on how you want to do things, like Cliff Kingsbury wanted to. That may not work. You know what I mean? I mean, this has got to. That's why I think they feel more comfortable elevating from within, because they don't want to upset. See, the only reason Kevin Patullo makes sense is continuity, and you have that continuity and familiarity to it. Okay, what can he possibly do in elevating a passing game?
I don't want to. I mean, just because he hasn't done it once doesn't mean. I mean, everybody's got to start
You've
somewhere.
been down that route with Brian.
Yeah, I know you have. I mean, that's fair. I think it's a different team now. I think it's a different. I mean,
I'm talking about him, not the team.
The 22 coming off of 22 is a lot different than coming off of 24, though.
Okay, how?
22, you were RPO based. All right, you relied on Jalen Hurts and most of those. In 24, you were a run based team with Saquon Barkley. Now there was still some RPO, but you weren't an RPO team. You were a run based
team in the NFC title game and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it worked. But isn't that kind of the point, that you're going to evolve based on each game, based on each moment, based on what you need to do in any given game? So that's why I wonder. Kevin Patullo is not too much change. If you throw in a whole new wrench, and now Jalen's learning a whole new system and all.
There's no wrong answer on February 12th here. There's no. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
I agree that you want to get the right hire in here. Now, someone asked, why is Zander saying Kevin Patullo is going to be gone if he doesn't get promoted? I'm not saying that. Kellen likes him a lot. So Kellen wants to interview him to be the offensive coordinator in New Orleans. That's an upgrade at position. So
that's right.
Patullo could take that job. That's what I was saying.
And if I know that I have a great relationship and we think alike and shit, I'm going to hire that. By the way, all supers will be red. No, folks. I'm not telling you that Kevin is. I'm just giving you an opinion on how I think he fits in. If they're not going to change the offense, and they're going to go probably 5 to 10% in the passing game and try to elevate the passing game, he's the perfect hire.
I think that's it.
But if they go like 30, 40%, you need a passing guy to roll in there, man.
I agree.
The guy who has
and I don't think, by the way, I don't think Frank's realistic because of this. He's 63 and he's making how many $1 million a year? Are you going to take a pay cut? Get rid of guaranteed money you have coming in, move to a new city where he's only spent 2 years here. Like, it's not like Vic Fangio was born and raised here or grew up around here. You know, this is kind of like, hey, I'm going home for the end of my career. This is a perfect scenario. You're going to tell me a 63-year-old guy is going to give up $6 million a year to take $3.5 million and move to Philly? I don't see it.
It don't work like that. What it does is that he's making 8. If he gets hired for 2.5 in Philly, then they take that 2.5 off the 8. And Carolina's on the hook for the remainder of that money. Plus, he gets the 2.5 to come up to $8 million. That's how Cliff Kingsbury.
So he still gets that money regardless.
That's how Kingsbury's being paid. He's still being paid like $5 million from Arizona, and he's making 2.5 up there in Washington. So it's still 7.5.
Here's a good point by our guy Philadelphia. Zander, no matter what coordinator we get, we've proven it's more of our team that's been successful, not the coordinators. They go other places and fail. Correct, Killa.
That's not really facts, because last year, or 23, your coordinators failed. Well, the team didn't win.
The team failed. The coordinator was scapegoated. Brian Johnson had the number 8 raw offense in the NFL.
Any way you want to look at it. Any way you want to look at it. You can say whatever. At the end result, it didn't go where you wanted it to go because you were 10-1 at one time during the season. So you could say it was the players. You could say it was the coordinators. All I know is it didn't match. Players and coordinators did not match that year. Okay? So, again, the hiring of this guy is going to be interesting to see and how much they want to improve the passing game, because that's how the offense has been built. How about this year, Zander? I wrote these guys as the top 5 potential threats to the Philadelphia Eagles in 2025. I've got the Rams at 5. By the way, this is why I love the Rams. The Rams are continuing to
These are your top 5 NFC threats?
NFC threats.
Oh, I like that.
LA Rams, the Niners, Green Bay, Detroit, and Washington. Let me start with the Rams first. I think the Rams have done a spectacular job at drafting also. They're magicians also at moving around the cap and signing guys. That's how they won that Super Bowl. I think without a question that you got a great play calling head coach in Sean McVay. The question, in my opinion, is what are you going to do with Matthew Stafford?
Yeah.
See, to me, Stafford, I mean.
And they're getting rid of Cup. I don't know. I feel like the Rams are about to go in the wrong direction.
I mean, well, it depends who they remember. He replaced Goff with Stafford. They won a Super Bowl. So
yeah.
my question is, where and what are you going to do in Los Angeles? How is that going to look in LA? Hey,
LA's not scaring me too much, but I agree with having them 5.
The year they replaced Goff, they won the Super Bowl.
You don't think the Vikings are anything, do you?
I don't believe J.J. McCarthy's going to be.
I don't know. I've never seen a guy play in the NFL, but I agree with you. When I look at him, I don't see it. But hey, I was wrong about Bo Nix. I looked at Bo Nix and I'm like, I don't really see it, and he's playing pretty well. You know, I looked at other quarterbacks, and I didn't think Baker Mayfield was going to be as good as he's been. So I don't want to write him off yet, but yeah, I don't see it.
Here's what I look at with Minnesota. Minnesota reminds me of the NFC's version of the Miami Dolphins. They just don't look very tough. You can't get your ass kicked like that. I mean, the Eagles, I made a point. The Eagles look so good in that Super Bowl. They made Patrick Mahomes look like Sam Darnold in that game. And there was a physicality the last 2 games of the year, the regular season game and then that wild card game against the Commanders. They just got fucking beat up, dude. I mean, they just got beat up.
They also had Pumpkin Darnold.
I mean, Darnold's going to be like a very hotly sought after.
What do you think he's going to get paid, Darnold?
$50 million.
Oh my gosh!
They gave
Sammy Darnold for 50 M's.
They gave.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Cousins 48.
Oh man!
I know.
Sammy Darnold.
What are you making the Rams?
Huh?
What are you making the Rams?
I think the Rams are going in the wrong direction, man. I don't think you can move off of Stafford as easy as you moved off from Goff. Now, maybe they can. I do like Sean McVay. I'm a Sean McVay guy. I do like his approach, but I don't know, man. You're losing Stafford, losing Cup. Now, they do have a good youth movement. They got all those dudes on defense, those young guys on defense. They got Puka Nacua. But outside of Nacua, who are they looking at? At receiver.
They're going to draft a wideout.
They're going to have to draft a wideout. They'll probably hit again late rounds. They've been pretty good in the draft, honestly, the Rams. I mean, they all of their draft picks last year were excellent. Dude, after Puka. Kitchens, Fisk, and Verse. All of those guys were excellent this year. So they've been drafting really well, but I just don't see it with the quarterback. And didn't they already float out their trade in Stafford, right? They put that out there. They're trading them.
They don't know what they're doing right now. I'm not sure restructuring. I just think Stafford, you've seen it, man. But is there anybody out there that Sean McVay and the Rams would be willing to give up a bounty for to try to bring a guy in that an organization would be willing to move? You're not moving any of the top 5 guys. I don't think. You're not moving Burrow. You're not moving any of those dudes. You're not moving Herbert. Would the Chargers consider moving Herbert and putting him over with the Rams?
So.
Why
are you going to get rid of Herbert? He's not the problem there.
I'm spitballing here.
Although he did have 4 picks. That was pretty ugly. But look, I like to make fun of Justin Herbert too for 4 picks. His number 1 was Lad fucking McConkey. He's a slot wide receiver.
No, I like him a lot. Ray Didinger just totally confirmed. He says we'll see us at 5:30.
Oh, so Ray Didinger sells his. You work with Ray Didinger. He don't miss a beat. He gets the email early. He checks in. I got the email. Thank you so much. See you. Blah blah blah. Ray Didinger don't miss, bro. He'll be here.
That's fantastic, man. By the way,
I'm looking forward to that interview, bro. I think you guys are going to be great together.
Hey, I got to tell you, man, every single person, did you see, or even Merrill Reese, everyone wanted to hear Merrill. I was really thankful.
Dude, he got like 15,000 views on the channel.
I can't believe that.
Wait,
It's yeah, that's really fantastic.
One guy in the world I know who knows as much, not more, as much football as Big Sills. And that's Ray Didinger. This is the encyclopedia. And he's already confirmed, everybody, he is updating because this is the Champions Edition. So he wrote this in like 2016. And then he made a Champions Edition that included the championship years, right?
Okay.
The championship year with Nick Foles. Now he already confirmed on our Pat Callahan show a couple of weeks ago that he has started writing the Jalen Hurts era of Philly, and he's going to update it again now that we officially have won the Super Bowl. So he said that before the Super Bowl, if they win again, I'm going to be updating it. So he's going to update it, but you're going to love him because when you talk to someone,
this is my first time talking to him.
I know. And whenever I hear you talk to somebody who knows football, it's always an amazing conversation. That's why I think you and Marcus Hayes hit it off so well, because both of you guys are kind of an encyclopedia for different knowledge, and you both have different takes, but you know so much and you can go back and forth. So I think you and Ray are going to be really good together.
Marcus is on tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. We got them all, man. I'm really happy that everybody, as soon as I asked, they went.
Yeah, show's been killing it this week after the Super Bowl.
Absolutely here. Let me ask you another one here. What about San Francisco as a threat to the Eagles in the NFC?
Yeah, I just don't like their quarterback situation. What are they going to do with Brock Purdy right now?
What's wrong
Also,
with Brock Purdy?
They're a little bit in cap hell. They haven't structured their contracts correctly. We talk about this all the time.
They told Debo to seek a trade.
Told Debo to get the heck out of here because they don't know how to manage cap at all. We talked about this yesterday with Howie Roseman and the cap. All right. Howie Roseman, by the way, people look in our cap in the future and they're like, oh, this is coming up. Cap dollars today are worth more than they will be in the future. All right. So 25 million today is going to be significantly less in the future. The cap is exploding 20 million plus a year right now.
Cap's not the issue in Philly.
No, that's not the issue in Philly at all. What I'm saying is that's the issue in San Francisco.
But what's the issue with Bond is open market value for him.
Yeah, I'm not. No, that's a different point. You asked me about San Francisco.
That's right.
I was saying they're in cap. They're in cap.
I'm not really saying. I'm saying in the offseason, he has a lot. This is Howie's time from February 10th until September 8th.
It's Howie season.
This is Howie's world, right?
It's Howie's world, and we're just living.
You know what, Zander? The point you have to keep making to people, if you want to be sitting there on February 9th, again with another Super Bowl, all the things that we're going to talk about from February 10th until September 8th, and then when you kick it off September 9th, this is going to determine whether or not you win the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, right.
Because your team was built in the offseason. It's not built in the regular season.
Don't have cap issues. Hogan, are you kidding me? They're getting Debo out of there, and they got to deal with Brock Purdy coming up.
Hey, Hollywood, when you know that you have to get rid of a player like Debo Samuel, just like what Buffalo did last year by having to exit $65 million off of their cap, when you see good players leaving rosters, there's only one reason that they're doing that, is because they can't afford that player. What did they have to do to Javon Hargrave? They want Hargrave back, but you know what they told him? We can't pay you 20.
No.
And I don't know about you, man. If you can't pay some of these guys, then that's cap issues. So here's my take on the Niners. They're older. McCaffrey what's he going to look like? Trent Williams, what's he going to look like? What are you going to do in the middle of that defensive line position? By the way, getting rid of Eric Armstead was a fucking massive mistake by them letting him go to Jacksonville.
I know.
That was terrible.
Your Walter Payton Man of the Year winner.
And a guy who kept the dogs off of Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. It was –
And Greenlaw's probably leaving there too, isn't he? Isn't Dre Greenlaw a free agent?
They're not going to re-sign him to the money.
Yeah, he's a free agent too. Dude, they're not in good shape.
Dude, they let that guy Eric Armstead out of the building, and he had a really good year this year for them.
And also, here's the other thing the 49ers haven't done. The 49ers have not drafted well. And remember when we were all last year when they made the Super Bowl, we're like, wow, look at how they overcame trading 3 picks for Trey Lance. Well, you're starting to see that bear out of being a problem now, all right? They didn't win the Super Bowl last year. They lost. They fell into relative obscurity this year, and now they have a bleak future because they haven't hit on picks. Ricky Pearsall looks okay. Game changer? I don't see it. Game changer? I don't see it. You got a quarterback issue with Brock Purdy. Do you want to play him?
He got shot in the offseason.
That's true.
Hey, he did take a bullet. I want to give the kid a shot, even though he's a Gator. I mean, he did take a shot. You know what I mean?
That's true. At least you didn't put the Cowboys on the list, and you would have been as delusional as Dakota Prescott.
I had to post that on my private thing there, and I'm like, where in the world? Do you understand? Look what Sunday did too. Remember that old 9-3 and 9-4 record mattered. Now it's irrelevant. Okay, it's completely irrelevant. You're talking consolation prizes versus the ultimate prizes, the NFC titles and a Super Bowl. Do you understand all of that 9-4? It's hyperbole now. It's just chatter. It doesn't matter anymore.
I think it showed you what he strives for.
No, what it is he's trying to validate that $60 million
well, that's
deal.
right. There's always an element of that, but I mean, that dude has literally 2 playoff wins. Jalen Hurts had 4 playoff wins this season. Okay? This season, he had 4 playoff wins. Jeez. So Dak Prescott is so infatuated with the fact that he has beaten the Eagles in the regular season that he looks at them and says, oh, no, we're good. We beat them in the regular season. Oh, no, it's all good. Normally when I play the Eagles, I beat them. That's all he cares about.
Guys, just because you wear the star doesn't mean you are one. Okay? I mean it.
Emmitt Smith should get down there and start slapping them boys silly in that locker room.
You notice how those 90s Cowboys talk about the current Cowboys? How about when we get Tony Casillas on? These guys don't know what they're doing.
Dude, Tony Casillas goes unleashed.
He rips them a new one. Tony's got 2 rings, and he's like, that ain't.
Yeah, let me ask you something. Would you trade for Michael Parsons if you're Howie?
No.
You don't like the player?
No.
I don't like the way he is, but I think
I don't like the way he conducts himself off the football field.
I don't either. But, I do wonder if the Eagles have such a great
Bro, if you're going to go there, give me Miles. I'll go. If you want to do that, give me that.
Well, Micah Parsons is how old? Miles is 29.
Yeah, well, that guy don't play to run. That guy does.
Miles Garrett does everything. I'm happy a lot of people are saying no. I mean,
hey, Micah Parsons versus Myles Garrett for the next 3 years. I mean, you'd look like the Ravens, like the defense, the Ravens defense. And plus, boy, bro, you might lose 4 games.
Parsons would be better in Philly
4 years
than in Dallas, though. Parsons would be good.
Better. Parsons would.
No, he said he would be better in Philly than he is in Dallas.
Maybe, but I think he's a distraction.
I do too. I agree. I just wonder if our culture is good enough to be able to handle it.
Let me ask you this: how many players on defense do you think are self-absorbed outside of maybe? But you know what? I'm going to not say Slay because you know why? All I hear players talking great things about him and coaches talking great things about him.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe one player on that team that talks in the second person or the third person.
None of them. And that's why they're all so bought into Vic Fangio's system. I mean, Vic Fangio's system is not a system that's conducive to personal stats. It's not. Remember Fletcher Cox a couple years ago when Jonathan Gannon got here? He's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want a 2-gap. What am I doing here? Fletcher Cox eventually bought in, but that's what it takes. I mean, you have to be bought in. And I don't even think it's just the defense thing. I know you have a little bit of antics, I guess, from A.J. Brown, which I don't really care, by the way. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. Welcome to Philadelphia.
I never said he did. Well. His talent is insane. By the way, Matt Patricia got the new DC job in Columbus. He's the new defensive coordinator of Buckeyes.
Is he?
Yeah.
Matt Patricia?
Matt Patricia got the defensive coordinator job. He'll be in the NFL again next year. Same way.
Is that the stiff who oversaw our downfall last year?
Yes, it is.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Matt
It is. Oh, hey, he was exposed last year.
Who the hell brought him into Philly? He was never a fit in Philly to begin with. I was surprised when they hired him, even as in the lower role.
Oh, I see. This ain't Nick, though. Nick didn't bring him in. All right. Okay. Nick brings the other winners in.
It's so hard to know who does what in the Eagles organization.
I know. They keep it cloak and dagger, and I think that was a Howie hire. How about this team, Green Bay? What do you make of them?
I think they're ascending. I think they got good players, but I don't really believe in Jordan Love. I think he's got talent. I don't see it yet fully from him. At times, he looks amazing, and other times you watch him and you're just like, geez. They got good players, but they're another team. They got a lot of receivers.
I like their coach.
Well, their coach has proven to be pretty good. You let Aaron Rodgers out the door, and you still make the playoffs. I mean, I think that's pretty impressive. So 2 years of playoffs without Aaron Rodgers, I think that's good. But I don't know. I think they're ascending. I think they could be a real factor, but they didn't really
get better on defense. They got to get better on defense, and they've got to really, in my opinion, they got to get another star out there somewhere to make a playmaker somewhere in the tight end position. I think they need a big time tight end, something like that. I want
to alert you of something before 4:30. All right, before you continue.
Yeah,
Philly 500 has a request today.
What is it?
He says, "I have one slight request." I said, "Anything you need, 500. You're a champion right now." He said, "Can I be brought on after Mark? Not a different segment, just like 5 or 10 seconds after. I don't think Mark should be introduced the same time as the champ. This will annoy him so much, and I love it."
He wants Mark Holmes to be the warm-up act for Philly 500 because he's the champion. I think he deserves that.
I said it will happen. All right. So when you get them, you bring on Mark.
Yeah.
You say, "Mr. Schottenheimer's your new head coach. He's gonna stink. We all know it." And then you give a nice welcome to the world champion Eagle super fan, the greatest Eagle YouTuber to exist, and that's Philly 500. All right, so that's how you're gonna have to do that.
I loved it. Holy, yeah!
I love 500. He is a funny ass dude. I still got to go and watch his game day stream. I didn't see it yet because I was working so long.
That's so awesome. All right, guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like. We're gonna get to the supers here in a minute. What do you make of Detroit? They lost both coordinators.
Yeah, they're up in the air, but
back.
They're up in the air, but they're going to be good. Let's be real. Talent wins in the end. All right, they might have some issues with the new coordinators, or they got to figure it all out. But they got a lot of talent on that football team. It's actually probably one of the only rosters in the NFL that's comparable to the Eagles. They got a great offensive line. They got a great defensive line. They got good skill position players. Jared Goff, it has been good. I mean, he delivers. I have a hard time believing in him late in the year at this point, but he's been good for them. So I think they're the number one threat in the NFC this year.
They got a lot. They have a culture up there that they're starting to build up there. And as long as Brad Holmes is in the mix there on building that team, they brought in Johnny Morton, I believe, to coach the wide receivers. I think they've kind of changed the entire coaching staff around a little bit too. David Shaw, the former Stanford coach, has been brought in.
They got have David Shaw on this show before, no, right?
Yes, we've had David Shaw on, the head coach.
I thought I remember you having him on.
Of Stanford Cardinals, yes, absolutely. I like Detroit.
I like Detroit more than. Wait, do you think that? Because your last two, I think they're 1-2, no matter what way you put them. I mean, I think it's Commanders and Lions. I agree with you for sure. I got Lions 1 because will the league catch up to Jaden a little bit this year? You think? I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I think he's going to be a great player in this league, but is there a little bit of CJ Stroud level regression? He still makes the playoffs. They're still going to be a playoff football team, but
he's older. He's a 6-year senior that when he was in college.
How old is Jaden Daniels?
25.
Bro, he's 24. He just turned 24, so he's not 25 yet.
He's 24 years old. Okay. I mean, he's only 2 years younger than Jalen. Okay.
He's a little more than that. I think Jalen turns 27 this summer.
Okay. But as of right, 2.5 years.
We'll say, 2.5 years.
Okay. So, I mean, he was a COVID guy because he played at Arizona State. He has more maturity to him. And here's why I think there's not a regression like there was with Stroud. $100 million in cap space. They may bring in Cooper Kupp. Right. They may bring in Myles Garrett.
They're going to get a lot of people.
The roster's going to get better than what Houston did in the offseason, this past offseason. Hey, dude, Stephon Diggs brought nothing to the table for the Texans this year.
That was a bad move.
Nothing down there. You know what? It was so bad, actually, the offensive coordinator got fired.
I don't understand why they got him. They have all those receivers in Houston. Why did they get Stephon Diggs? I didn't understand it when they did it.
So how about if they do this? Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, and Cooper Kupp for Jaden Daniels. How's that?
That's a lot. You think they're going to go 2 big receivers?
Well, they may go 1. Kupp's not going to be that expensive, Doug. He's not going to be top
How old
end.
is Kupp now? He's got to be 30-something.
Yeah. He's not going to get high-end $28 million that he's making now. Then you draft a kid in the draft. These receivers are coming out of the woodworks now. Look at that kid, Brian Thomas, down in Jacksonville. These receivers are coming out of college right now. Like, again, boy, wouldn't you like to have an Adam Thielen in the building kind of player?
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels.
That I'd like.
Look at what he did to Bryce Young. By the way, I think Bryce Young's if they continue to improve that roster, I don't know. That's a shitty place for a quarterback is Carolina.
Oh, so shitty. Well, I think that benching was actually the best thing for him last year.
He came out of that better.
Yeah, it looked a lot better. So I like Bryce Young. Obviously, I like him for his days at Alabama, national champion at Alabama. But yeah, I hope he can turn it around. We'll see what they can do. I got Lions above Commanders though. I think the Lions are built to compete with
those coordinator. The coordinator moves bother me.
The coordinator moves bother me, but they still got a lot of talent. All right, they still got a ton of talent, and they had a crazy injury year, man. Like you don't have injury years like that every year. They had a bad bug this year.
Best defender. That'd be like losing Jalen Carter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our whole defense. No, worse. It would have been like losing Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. That's how much guys they lost on that defensive line and that entire defense. And you lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Zach Bond. Like we wouldn't have won the Super Bowl, guys, if that happened to us. All right, so maybe we would have, but I don't know. We wouldn't have looked the same way. That's for sure. So. No, they're going to be interesting because they're going to get all those guys back, or at least a lot of them back, and we'll see what they can do. I also like Dan Campbell. I'm a Dan Campbell guy.
How about this last one here? What side of the aisle are you on with this Jason Kelce kind of controversy here that he was rooting for his brother, and
it's tough.
It was hard for him with the fact that, I mean, could you root against your pop?
No, I'd never. But can I give you my side of it? All right, I'm going to give you both sides of it before I tell you what side I'm on, because the truth is I'm probably going to end up straddling the fence here. I understand Philly fans who are mad at him. All right, and let me explain why. Philly people are loyal. Okay, Philly people are ride or die. All right, your podcast comes out, we're going to make you the biggest podcast on the world. You do this for us, we're going to do 10 times more for you. You signed every contract you ever had in your life in this city. We enriched you in your life. You had your family here. You met your wife in this city. The amount of things this city did for you is more than you can ever give back. Now, this is family. All right, you're talking to a guy I'm very family driven. It's his brother. All right, he's going to root for his brother in the Super Bowl. I see both sides of it. I understand Jason Kelce coming out and saying, this is a hard situation for me. All right. I get that. But I'm not going to shit on Eagles fans for being mad at him. And I'm not going to shit on people for saying they're cool with Jason Kelce doing that because it's his brother. I see both sides. And if you feel slighted, all right, because remember, there's one thing that struck me the wrong way, all right, that Jason Kelce did in the last year and a half, 2 years. When we got destroyed, dismantled, and humiliated in the postseason last year versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who remembers that? Okay. Jason Kelce was dancing with his shirt off with a Kansas City Chiefs hat on a week later at the Kansas City playoff game. I didn't love that. Not because he was rooting for his brother, but because of what happened in Philly and dismissing it. So people add that. Now they add this. You know, they start to build a trend in their head. They're like, if you're not with Philly, you're against Philly. And like I said, I don't agree with that entirely, but people are going to feel that way. And for the people who, I'm so excited for the people who support this team. People who support the Eagles don't support the Eagles when it's convenient. These people support the Eagles through thick and thin, with their money, with their time, with their effort, with everything they have in their being. They cry when they lose and they're happy when they win. So when people turn on them or show that they're against the Birds, it's in their nature as a loyal person to say, you know what? Fuck you too. Because they feel like everybody is against them. So I get both sides of it. But I'm not going to crush Jason Kelce for rooting for his brother. I think that's crazy. I'd root for my brother. It's a tough situation, though.
What I would say is, I like your first take. And if my brother doesn't understand that I'm rooting against him because of all the things that Philadelphia did for me, made me a millionaire, I'll probably be worth $300 million. Brother, if you don't understand what this place did for me and my family's generational wealth, and you don't get that, I got to tell you, I love you to death. I hope you play your ass off, and I hope you have a great game. But to sit there and tell me that I'm going to be rooting for the Chiefs over the people that made me a millionaire, that ain't fucking working. I don't care if that's my mother. That's me. I don't care if that's my mother. I'm not rooting for you.
I agree. And the other thing they said was it's football. It's just a game. Well, it's like, all right, if it's just a game, then I don't go on the golf course with my brother and say, I hope you win because I love you. I say I'm going to beat your ass. Doesn't mean I don't love you.
And
you can't say it's just a game, so I'm not going to root for Philly. I'm going to root for my brother. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Because if it's just a game, then why do you have to be so loyal to your brother?
Jason,
it's not real life.
I'm rooting for you in your life. I'm always going to take your side in life. In a game, that ain't working for me, dude.
Yeah, because I don't know.
That game made me – get this. I'm on ESPN because of Philadelphia. I'm not – can you imagine if that fucking guy played in Tennessee? I mean, he's a nobody. He's a nobody.
I completely agree. I mean, who knows any other center in the league? But anyway, I do think there's also a little bit of human instinct there where you got to feel for him in terms of like it probably sucks.
It's tough.
Dude, you will know how much praise Jason Kelce got when he played here. You remember it was when you were covering the team. I mean, it's all people do. We love Kelce. Glazed and everything and this and that and Hall of Fame and love and hugs and kisses and you name it and podcasts and everything. All right. He got all of that when he played. Now he's gone, and the team is Super Bowl champions. Cam Jurgens filled in his role better than he probably anticipated he would, and he's probably like a little bitter about that.
Dude, they won it without me? How many times? Hey, dude, if somebody came on my show and started killing it more than me, you think
you'd be a little bit upset.
I'm not rooting for that.
I hear you.
I'm not rooting for that. Absolutely not happening, man. That's not what I'm. No, I mean,
it is complex, though. It is complex.
It is. But we're talking. I mean, we talking life, or are we talking a game?
Right. Agreed. So, and he used that phrase. He said, "Football's a game. Like it's not." So I get it. I'm like, but you are.
Dude, if it's a game, then I ain't rooting for you.
I agree.
Hey, dude, family.
Wait,
life.
You asked me what I'd do against my dad. I'd look my dad in the face and say, Dad, you have a mansion. I have 4 houses for my beautiful family. I love you, but fuck you. All right.
Hey, Dad, I'll tell you what,
understand?
Dad. Hey, Dad, I'll see you on the first tee and we'll settle it there. I
think Travis is a little bit soft about it too. Like you can kind of tell by Travis's comments. He's like, yeah, I knew you were rooting for me. I knew you were rooting for me. I'm like, Travis, did you really put your friendship with your brother? If he didn't root for you, what would have happened? Would you have really been like you're a bad brother? I don't know. I feel like he was a soft ass too. Maybe both the Kelces are getting a little soft.
Me too, man. I thought that whole podcast there. You know what I did? I did this, honest to God, in front of my wife. I went. I just started crying like a bitch. I'm like, these 2 guys are women.
Yeah,
I was like, shit. My wife and my daughter are tougher.
I mean,
I'm like, dude, man, that
I'm
was
a little bit
really
Kelce'd out.
Conversation.
I'm a little bit Kelce'd out. All right.
I mean, let's read these numbers, man. Because I got an opening act coming on before Philly 500, and then we got Ray Didinger also at 5:30.
Let's go. Johnny Cage checks in. There you go. Marky's checking in now. What's up, Mark? Johnny Cage says, I'm with Sills. If you make a move for Garrett, it's for Garrett, not Parsons. Parsons is still too immature. You don't get Lombardis with that silly shit. Yeah, tell Mark that. Abe says, how about now, Zander? Smitty over Lamb. Champs, baby. It's close. I agree, though. Abe, I'll give you it. Luke's dad says, I'm tired of the JD5 hype. When Hurts was his age, he was an NFC champ. If Hurts would have stayed with Lincoln Riley till he was 23, he might be 2-time Heisman.
But that's not the facts, man. It's a 9th coordinator in 8 years for Hurts, dude. Stop using dude. Start using facts with Hurts. Don't start using fantasy.
Facts. Super Bowl MVP.
He's overcoming it.
Super Bowl champ and MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2-time.
How's that for a fact? William Robinson says there's usually a regression with quarterbacks at some point. I know JD5 had a great year. I'm not taking him for granted, but coordinators will catch up. I agree.
Well, again, that's why they have $100 million and they have 10 draft picks. They're going to continue to improve the roster around them because they saw. Remember something. Watch Washington do something that Dallas refuses to do. Dallas tries to beat the other big teams around the league instead of worrying about the NFC East. Washington is going to try to beat Philly because if they beat Philly, they're the champs. The champs are now in the East. Dallas looks like, again, I'll say it, and Mark's watching, and we'll bring him up soon.
Mark is fucked, and he knows it.
How about this? Dallas.
Mark is fucked, and he knows it. The Cowboys are going to be trash.
Just because you wear a star doesn't mean you're a star. Let's read this here.
All right, Luke's dad says, all I keep hearing is every other quarterback could do what Jalen did. I'm not sure there are 5 guys who can handle Philly. One bad game or interview, and the whole city wants you and the coach gone. Welcome to Philly, baby. You know, people wondering why Kelce's mad. There you go. There's your answer, Luke's dad. Ramir says, how long will Frank be here? Think he can take a head coach job?
No. Those days are gone.
Yeah, those days are done.
But when you have a coordinating ring, you have a job and a get-out-of-jail card for free. Hey, how about this before? Hey, I'm glad he's listening. Mark, how about this? So let me get this right. You got a world champion head football coach that was in your building. You had another one in Sean Payton. And you let those OCs out of your building and you hired Brian Schottenheimer. I can't.
We haven't had Mark on. We should have had Mark on after they hired Schottenheimer.
Yeah. No, I wanted to wait.
Getting a ring and $7 million from Carolina. How sweet is that? That's true deal. Exactly so. If quarterback coach is less than OC, he gets larger offset from Cal. Or you're talking about the coaching stuff. I got you. Abe says, would you go after Fowler? You got that one, I believe. And Dio, final one. Do you think we could create a QB factory similar to our O-line factory? Why do we want that? I don't think that's a good thing.
Dude.
Find me a great organization that won multiple Super Bowls with having a quarterback.
Would you draft Jalen Milroe to be the backup here?
No, I like Tanner McKee.
It kind of fits the same.
Get rid of Flickett though. I'm done with that Flickett dude. Get rid of him. I like give me Tanner. I like
send him to Dallas.
Huh?
Send him to Dallas.
Yeah, I don't need Pickett. All right. I don't know why he's here. All right, let me get out of here. Let me promote something. Tonight on the night show. All right. For those who watch our night show, This Week in Pro Football with Pat Callahan. Pat reached out to me, and yours truly is going to join the show. All right. So I'll be joining Pat for the last segment. We'll have Sal Palantonio on and Gary Myers. All right. So we'll talk about the Hall of Fame, Eric Allen with Gary Myers. He's a Hall of Fame selector. And then Sal Palantonio, who was at the Super Bowl, will recap that sucker for one last time. So it should be a great show tonight. Looking forward to seeing you all guys there at 6 o'clock.
Appreciate that, Zander. Great stuff, man. I liked it with you and your pop last night in that stand-up.
Yeah, that's fun,
man. Good, man. Really good stuff. So make sure you guys go back and watch that. We've been absolutely killing it this week here. Really great, spectacular stuff. Zander, we'll catch you tonight and also tomorrow back with Birds 365. Hey, do me a favor. Don't yell at John so bad, man.
I'm yelling at John again tomorrow. In fact, I'm picking a fight with John once a day, every single day this offseason. So if you're tuning in to Birds 365, get ready. All right. The F-bombs are flying. The red face is flying.
John says more F-bombs than you.
Oh my God. Dude, if you talk to John off the air, it's the F word every 3 words. I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy. But no, he lets that fly when I get him going. So that should be good.
Let's do this one here, this last one here. QBs are draft capital.
Yeah, but you're not building a team to build draft capital. You're building a team to win championships.
Yeah, we're not worried about 2 and 3 right now. I'm worried about number 1. That means finding the right coordinator around.
All right, let me get out of here. I appreciate you all. See you guys. Mark, I'll be praying for you, brother. You guys are down bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Philly 500 is going to give you the work today. I'm sure. Hey, I'll see you guys.
I got you, Zander. We'll catch you tomorrow. You know, I was going to take a timeout, but I'm not now. Till Zander John pissed. That's what I heard. Some people are texting me going, you see what Zander did? So I had a request a couple minutes ago. And Zander ended up relaying the request. He said, do you know? Can we please have Mark come on first? And I said, well, I mean, between one of these two guys, the champion gets the call. Man. And the thing I saw with Dak Prescott, boy, I'll tell you, man, Mark Holmes has to have an exceptional offseason. I mean, his content must be through the building. But boy, I'll tell you, man, that was one of the most delusional things I've ever heard.